Can you hear the rest of us?
Hello.
You're muted, Lucas. I can't hear you.
Oh no.
So we've taken control for the night. GMless game.
Yeah, no, I can't hear anyone. Oh wait, no, I can hear me.
Interesting.
This is the inverse problem we normally have.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I know what happened, which is that like I still had it set on the voice mod, but I don't know why y'all weren't, because it was all anyway.
Chaos
Hi.
reigns.
All right.
Fair City now.
Now everyone?
Wait. You can't hear anyone now, or you can hear everyone?
I think they're saying now we can hear everyone.
Oh.
So, is that everyone can be heard?
Or everyone can know. We can't
hear all. Okay.
Can you hear all?
Good.
Okay.
All right, good.
Woo!
Okay.
I was like, it
Thanks,
could go
Jeff.
either way here.
We, can you believe that we've been doing this for over 2 years? and in fact, the streaming actual plays thing for almost 3. We know how to do all of it. We are very professional. Actually, you know what it is? As I'm still not completely used to my stream deck, and so like I don't remember like which of the things I have keyed up under like multi-action. So I'll like, because I do have a thing for like manual muting and unmuting, so that might have been why y'all weren't coming through. Because I did, yeah. Anyway, that's not super important or like irrelevant to any of you, but the point is we're very professional and know how to do everything, and we're just good at everything all the time. So, let's try that again. There's not a whole lot of announcements this time around, but we did just recently have our very first Patreon town hall. And I don't know why that's so hard for me to remember the words for. Our Patreon town hall for our World Builder tier, that will, if you missed it, that will be on Patreon this week, before the week is out. It's a good look at what we've been working on, what is coming soon, and sort of the general landscape for what is ahead for Rule of Lore. And so if you want to see all of that, now is a great time to join our Patreon at the World Builder tier. So, you can do that whenever you like, but that will be up this week. So you'll be able to see the that, as well as some like commentary from our patrons. So yeah, it's that's all I got. That's all I got for that. Friday, we have a totally normal episode of Ramblemancy planned on a completely unremarkable Friday. And that's...
Sounds non-suspicious.
That's all I'll say about that. There's nothing special or strange about that day. Just a normal Friday. That's it. That's all I have to say, really. I don't think that there's a lot of other announcements. I think it's something... A lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is still in the very behind the scenes stages. So... we'll have announcements for you soon. Consider this the announcement for the announcements. There will be announcements at some point in the future about something. You could probably just take that one as like a constant. That's like always true. That announcement is always true. There will at some point in the future be announcements about something. That's always going to be true.
Just keep happening.
Anyway, somebody should,
so
if any of my players would do me the favor of taking the mic away from me for like a few minutes.
Power play Sundays. We have like 2 episodes left of the season, or 3 episodes left of the season. That was just really stressful. If you're caught up, because anyways, that was good. Sundays 5 p.m. Pacific, Q Times channel. Follow me on Twitter for things. Watch Our Flag Means Death on HBO Max. It is so good.
Damn it. Why does it have you on HBO Max? For fuck's sake. We don't have it. We don't have that shit in the UK.
You don't have it?
No.
Really?
it
You have
doesn't
a
exist in the
VPN
UK.
track?
Let's talk about illegal things live on stream.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm proud of the crimes I've committed.
There's a gift to prove it.
That's correct. Very true.
I also have things happening. On Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific over on Save and Throw Show, we continue with the Dark Souls mini-series. So we're playing the Dark Souls TTRPG. We'll be still doing some world building this week, but then next week we'll definitely be heading deep into the actual roleplay and mini-series. On Fridays, on queue times at 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm in my All Villains campaign, Parliament of Owls. Last session was very interesting. I got to play with someone for the first time. A guest came over and they saw how awful my character was. I had to apologize to them afterwards because it was bad. Bad in a good way, but in a bad way because we're a villain campaign.
Bad in a weird villain's way.
Yeah, bad in a weird villain's way. I think that's it, actually, now I think about it. I have a pretty lax week this week. Back Damon's Academy on Kickstarter. I think we're less than 1,000 away from hitting a goal.
Hell yeah.
So back it if you want some very gay, lesbian, vampire vibes in the story that I'm writing. Also follow Remy on Twitter. I'm not forgetting to do it this time. I got you, Remy. Please don't be disappointed in me, Remy.
Incredible. Yeah. I think that's everything, right? All right, cool. Well, then, with that, we shall get into tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. And welcome back, everybody. Previously on Infinite Horizon, while the Resistance marshaled their forces to retake Sulam, the crew followed up on the mysterious signal the caretakers told them about. They traced the signal to a remote planet owned by Trinity Star Enterprises, and were in the process of gathering more information about it when Jade and Sedona realized the planet's topography matched a wildly popular virtual reality MMO called Evotopia. The crew dressed themselves for a night on the video game town and teleported to the planet. When the crew arrived, they discovered that not only was the planet home to physical versions of Evotopia's VR personas, but also to real people under strict NDAs playing the game's NPCs. Seeking help from a few of the locals, the crew learned that the crashed ship's signal that they were chasing originated from a dangerous section of the planet known as the Dark Zone. Before the crew left, the locals gave them one final piece of information: rumors of a rogue actor who lived deep in the Dark Zone, known only as the Outcast. And that is where we left off. So, coming back in, I believe where we left. Okay, let me just pause for a moment and just say, that was a classic example of a recap written by John Boyle.
I could hear it.
Credit where credit is due, right?
I was working on other stuff. Usually we do the recaps together, but I was working on other stuff today while John was writing the recap, and so John took point on that. That was classic John Boyle writing there. Anyway, where we left off last time, y'all had teleported to the kind of the border between the sort of game zone that you had been in, that you kind of had landed in, and the Dark Zone, located at the end of a valley in the kind of extensive mountain range that bordered the area. Where we left off, y'all had just stepped through this sort of photonic kind of resonance field that was designed to prevent the sonas from of players from passing through it. Not unlike a video game world border. But as you proceeded in, you stepped foot into a blasted, blackened landscape, filled with wilted foliage, and kind of glowing, luminescent, sort of mist, and that sort of suffused the air around it. And so, where we pick up right now, y'all are, that's actually where we will pick up at the moment, as you are kind of walking through this area. What would you like to do?
Can I just see if I just sense anyone who feels emotions in the area?
Yeah, you don't sense anyone. No
I
one.
didn't think so, but I figured I'd check.
Yeah, other than your companions, you sense nobody.
No, I suddenly don't sense my companions.
Yeah,
They've all
you
been
can see them.
replaced.
They're there,
Oh,
but
no.
That would be really scary.
Mhm.
This is a horror movie now. I mean, it kind of already is, actually.
it's not that.
Or,
Do I so when we step through, is it just that there's no like, is there any residual radiation, or like is there any signs of what caused the blackened landscape?
I'll say
or is it-
your like your helmet displays on your suit immediately start like tracking like blips of like radiation, like nothing lethal.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like what Abriel had picked up on her medical scanner.
Okay.
It kind of confirms it. It's nothing, not like lethal doses or whatever. I mean, you don't want to be like in it for a very, very long time, but like it's not going to be super harmful as long as you like get proper treatment afterwards. You'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I think I'll tell and like just test it out and try to do like just a quick teleport back, like maybe like 10 feet away and then back, just to see if it's gonna interfere.
I think you would notice that it's like it's slightly more difficult, but not in any like really like it doesn't prevent, you're not prevented from doing it. It's more it's just like it's like moving through something a bit more viscous than air would be, you know?
Yeah.
Almost like that kind of like there's like a little bit of resistance that you're not used to, but it's
Oh.
But it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing major.
Okay. Hopefully, we won't need to do any precision jumping, because that was a bit harder than I was hoping. There's some residual radiation in the air, so probably try and get moving as fast as possible. Nothing lethal, but just don't want to be in this for very long.
Mason's gonna kind of, just as we start moving carefully, it's going to look to see if there are any like tracks of any kind, or is it just completely barren?
Go ahead and give me, this will be an intellect task. This will be like like an investigation type thing.
Is the terrain here is just a totally like burned out landscape essentially? It's like rocky, or what's the? As you look
a little closer to it, like what appeared to, it looked at first like what land would look like after like a wildfire had passed it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look a little closer, you realize that what you're seeing isn't just like barren, blackened landscape. There is actually like grass, but the grass itself is also like a very, very sort of dark, kind of ashy green. It does not look healthy in any way. It's not pretty. So Freeman, the difficulty on this task, by the way, is going to be difficulty 4.
Okay. I'm going to use investigation skill, so I'm specialized. That brings it down to a 2.
You have stimulate.
Because you got stimulate.
That's true. You
I
also
don't even have to use anything.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could just roll on a difficulty 1 if you wanted.
Hold on, one question. Does that work once, or does it stimulate with me for a while?
Stimulate
the one time?
Stay with you, but it's the next task you do. So.
Yeah.
So if I can I save it?
No.
How long does it last for again?
It lasts.
No, got it.
Until
It's the
you
next
make a
task.
roll.
I see.
Yeah, I think it's just.
Got it. I understand now.
Sorry.
No worries. I'm going to be able to tell what kind of ants walk in this land if there are any.
All right.
Perfect.
I'm gonna roll.
Hey.
Not on the floor though. Come back.
Anything could be a clue.
Wow, that went really far. It really did. Okay.
You've adapted to
12.
roll the die.
Huh?
12.
12. All right. Yeah. You take a close look at the ground, and you don't notice anything that you recognize as tracks per se. There is what appears to be various like disturbances to the ground, but it's hard to tell whether this is like natural or as natural as anything is here, or if this is like from like the passage of some creature or other. It's almost impossible to tell. There seems to be sort of like a thin layer of fine ashy dust on everything. Basically, like it legitimately looks kind of like fallout. Like it
so
looks
it's
a little
fallen
bit like
from the sky and collected over a period of time. Okay.
Yeah.
How can I tell? Like, is it like a volcanic type thing? If I take my little spyglass of sorts and investigate the sediment.
Yeah, sure. I'll say that with that, you can tell it doesn't appear to be volcanic. In fact, a lot of the particles that you're like just at a quick cursory sort of like inspection, a lot of the particles appear to be a lot of it appears to be like a variety of like carbons and stuff like that, but like some of it does look to be synthetic. Like the composition is not something that you'll be able to figure out from this, mainly because it's like not what this particular instrument is designed to do. But like, yeah, it's so it is basically just radioactive ash essentially. Some of which is from some sort of synthetic compound, but you're not able to identify it.
Is there like a piece of cinder, something burning that Mason can just pick up?
Nothing is burning or smoldering nearby, but you can pick up, like you can take a sample if you would like from somewhere, like yeah, easily enough. You can find, basically you find what is somewhere in between like stone and like charcoal. It's bizarre, like picking it up and feeling it. It's heavy like stone would be, but it like that has the texture of like charcoal.
Okay. Mason kind of just says, I know I shouldn't have to say this out loud, but I will anyway. Let's all be careful. And he pops a cigarette in his mouth and he lights it.
Yeah, you light it. And as soon as like the flame goes, right, like there's like the flame definitely lights the cigarette, but then you see as the flame goes out, instead of just kind of going out like it would normally do, you can see as it sort of snakes through the air and then goes out.
Okay, maybe that was not a brightest plan. Okay.
Yeah. Like it doesn't seem to be igniting anything. It's almost as if the flame itself seemed to like just sort of it seems to be igniting something, but it seems like it's more igniting like specific particulate rather than that's in the air, rather than like any kind of like fumes or anything like that.
Ooh,
I guess this is no smoking area.
Yeah, seems like, at least for the time being.
Taeon, or are the readings showing that it's safe for us to breathe in here? Should we put on masks or something?
It just seems like there's a bit of radiation, nothing that would kill any of us. we just don't want to be here for too longer than we really have to. Yeah, no, I think when it comes to radiation, the air, I think we're okay for the most part.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt having some kind of mask on, though, I guess.
Kind of look to Abriel for the confirmation on it.
Yeah, you can see that she's already in the process of like scanning, doing atmospheric scans. She says, "Well, it's not good, but it's not, you know. I mean, it's for the time, at least in this area, it's not going to. It's not super harmful. Like Taeyeon said, as long as we don't spend a whole lot of time in here, I'd say we probably have. As long as we're out in under 24 hours, I think we'll be okay. What any conditions or negative side effects that we experience will be likely reversible or curable."
And how are the readings you're getting on there for us following?
It's from this point on, we're pretty much on our own. We are within the area of accuracy. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Mason, do you think you can fly and take on an aerial view while we take on the ground view?
I think so. And Mason's going to click his device and it's going to hover a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Are you heading up?
And I'm going to head up.
Sounds good. All right. As you do that, Jade kind of looks up and he like watches you as you go, and he's like, "Huh. I wonder." And he just sort of kind of looks down at his hands and just goes, okay. He just sort of starts like kind of spreads his hands out and just sort of like to either side, just sort of palms down, and just sort of concentrates for a moment, and then nothing happens. And he just goes, "Okay, well, it was worth a shot."
Wait, what were you trying to do?
He just kind of points up at where Mason is. He says,
"Oh,
cool idea."
Yeah. Maybe I just I don't know. I'm still figuring this whole thing out.
Yeah.
I'm not a physicist, so like grasping the concepts is a little.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine you probably have to convert energy into some kind of energy into gravitational potential.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
That was my next shot, but well, I don't know about any kind of energy discharge around here. Seems like it might be a little risky.
Yeah.
The energy around here is super weird.
Yeah. Maybe we should yeah.
Actually, this can be a thing we can talk about, but I did want to talk to you about how long do you have to focus when you're absorbing energy? And I think we're probably like walking in like towards the center of the talking.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, can you absorb it over a long period of time, or just be an instantaneous thing?
I've been actually working on trying to store energy, right? Like trying to like mostly with kinetic and potential energy, trying to like store up kinetic energy to convert it into potential energy and try and see if then I can convert that back. But it's a lot of concentrating that needs to be done on several different tasks. It's difficult.
Yeah, no,
but
that's fair.
Yeah. I've been able to do it reflexively in situations where it's been like the falling vehicle that was but it's difficult to do it when I'm actually thinking about it. I think maybe I just get into my own head a little bit about it because I'm trying to also remember like all the different like formulas that I learned and it's I kind of get a little bit into my own head.
I suggested you talk to Mr. The Inevitable, but maybe you should talk to Vix.
Huh. Yeah, maybe. Huh. Yeah, I'll think about that. Maybe I'll ask him when we get back.
And if you can't stand his company, I can also help. I had to store up a lot of chronokinetic energy to jump here initially anyway, so I'm kind of used to at least making it subconscious.
And then And he's like about to say more, but then all of a sudden, y'all begin to hear distantly, like kind of carried on sort of like the wind. You hear the sound of just like high pitched shrieks in the distance.
Oh, shit, Mason.
Am
I up in the air, or have I not quite made it away from the group
you're
yet?
up there, and as you're like looking around, you hear it too. It's hard to tell exactly which direction it's coming from up here. But you know what? Don't worry. Don't bother rolling because I think you will succeed. You look around. You don't immediately see any signs of movement, except certainly not a creature or anything that would have made a sound like this. But what you do see is like a little ways ahead. You see where there's basically these like clouds where like some of this ashy fallout was sort of apparently disturbed. Whether that was from air movements here or something else is impossible to tell.
I like report that to the ground. Mason to ground. Did you get that?
Yeah.
A scream?
Yeah.
There's a weird distortion. I can't tell what it is.
Okay, I guess all we can really do is keep an eye out. If this is anything like the games Jay's been talking about, I'm assuming it's probably going to be monsters about things that we probably don't know much about ourselves. So keep watch.
Have comms open? Is that what's?
I'm assuming.
I assume, yeah.
Does that work here? That's my next question. We can use comms here.
If we're talking through them right now, then yeah.
Okay, cool.
Bina's gonna be like, okay, Mason, be ready to point something out to me, okay? I'll be up there in a second. I'm gonna teleport up. I want to light up, and I want him to point out, and then I want to see what I can see while I'm up there.
Okay.
Oh. I point in the direction.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me.
Mason's just like, oh, you can do that. Okay.
Just a quick.
I think what's happening is it's like a, and then she.
Just again to stay in the air.
So she can stay up there and see.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And she doesn't like recorporealize for like a full round after she does living light, so she's just like this like hazy like light mirage thing happening up there.
Go ahead and give me this is gonna be an intellect task, and the difficulty of this is going to be to see anything more than what Mason saw. I think the difficulty on this is gonna be 9.
Sick. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Do I get an asset from Mason?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay, that's okay. All right. So.
I love the idea of us on the ground, just like looking up, like
there's this like blur of light.
Yeah.
Turner's like, yeah, that's really good, really smart.
Okay, task involving sight, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay, so that drops down to 6. My edge will eat 2 more, down to 4. I'm gonna spend 1 more and then see what happens.
Okay.
So roll on a 3.
Okay, so you just need a 9 or better.
A 16.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of look, seeing this like the last sort of bits, but just before they completely have dispersed, you can see kind of like the clouds of disturbed fallout and ashy dust. As you look, there's a brief moment where you catch the movement on the ground somewhere, and then it just stops. You don't see it anymore. But you know that it's like the barest flash of movement. There was nothing like you didn't get a sense of any kind of like form or anything like that. There was just like your eyes like tracked movement, and then it stopped. Mm-hmm.
I report that to the group. Don't know what it means, but that's what I saw.
Think it might be the Outcast, or I think we need to be actually worried about.
Or some type of creature. She's gonna light jump down to the back down to the ground.
Yeah. There's just like right where you touch down, like there's just like the very softest like puff of like that kind of dust and fallout as you just recorporealize.
That's why I have my helmet on. Yeah, I think all we can really do is probably keep heading in. Either this is a problem or this is what we're looking for. I have a feeling we'll run into it either way.
But that's all we got. So do we want to avoid it or do we want to check it out?
I mean, maybe we should go near the edges of it at least so we can get a better idea of what it is. I mean, we don't really have a clear picture of what we're looking for, so
yeah.
How can we know this isn't it?
So y'all walk forward, and as you do, you're basically walking through kind of the end of a valley. And as you kind of step through kind of like towards the end of it, you can basically come to the bottom of where there's like switchbacks essentially going down, and kind of into this bowl-shaped valley down below. You have a pretty solid view of like the whole, as much as you can see through the smog. You have a pretty decent view of what's ahead of you. Just at the base of the mountains, you can see where there's like a significant stretch of just sort of empty ground, similar to what you're walking on here, with that sort of like blackened grass, and almost charred looking shrubbery. But just beyond that, you can see where there are these like more of the kind of the trees that you saw kind of towards the entrance to this area, the kind that almost look like these sort of skeletal, like blackened skeletal hands reaching for the sky, leafless and totally still. But you can see that where there's sort of like many of the trees in there, you can see this sort of like sickly greenish glow kind of pulsing from the trunks in some cases. Like you can see these like what even from here you can see are sort of like bizarre sort of glowing pustules on the trees themselves. That sort of greenish mist sort of hanging, clinging to kind of the tops of the trees down below. Where Bina saw the movement would have been like in the sort of like empty stretch between you and the trees.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Should I come back down to the ground? I don't know if I'm as much help up here as I am on the ground. These things seem to be fast and.
Yeah.
We could use you down here. I want to kind of like getting a feel of this area and kind of like just knowing where this location is, since it's been pointed out. I want to use premonition to try to learn one fact about a location that is pertinent to the topic I designate, and this is the location, this area.
Which area? The clear area?
Or the area that we specifically are, we're heading towards like this weird cloud situation, right? The weird.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that area is what I kind of want to find out about while we're walking towards it.
But okay, are you talking about like the trees, or you're talking about like sort of like the clear area before that?
I guess
the clear area before that was where we saw the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got a little confused for a second.
Sure. Remind me, with this, is it sort of like a thing that, like, this is a GM determined piece of information?
Yeah, so it's you learn one random fact about a creature or location that is pertinent to a topic you designate. So the way I get it is like I pick the topic and then you give me the information.
Gotcha.
Essentially.
Yeah. That's right.
Peach. The way I see it, she's standing there. You know, she's kind of like looking up as if she's kind of like seeing something that's not there, but to her, she's kind of seeing these like this like, you know, energy of the area is kind of what I see it.
I'll tell you this. This is a piece of information that you learn. You know that area, you just like this, the knowledge just sort of like comes to you that area down below the clear area specifically, is there's a spike of radiation there.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
He just kind of like stops walking and points it out and relates that it's radiated. We shouldn't go down there.
If there's a spike, doesn't that mean that's what we're looking for there? We've been tracing this spike because it seems like it's coming from the ship that crashed.
Abriel shakes her head and says, "Not necessarily. This whole area is suffused with it."
Oh, God. Okay.
I mean, Tan, you might be able to get a better look with the suit that you have on, but I don't think we should get near it.
Yeah, I don't think the suit will protect me for too long, but maybe a bit longer than all of
Maybe
you.
Mason would be able to take a look.
Yes, I could possibly adapt to it for a bit.
Have you ever tried to adapt to radiation before?
I just got shunted into space a couple weeks ago. I'm really still brand new to some of this stuff.
Guess that can't be worse.
Gas, the void of nothingness.
Abriel shrugs and says, "I mean, in fairness, there's not an insignificant amount of background radiation in space, so assuming you survive that, I'm guessing this probably would be similar."
It's worth a try.
I can still come with just in case you don't get jumped, I guess, essentially.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I think we should try this right here. And so,
to be clear, it wasn't a small bit of radiation. It was a spike of radiation. Just so we're all on the same page here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Mason.
He's just like a little alarmed that we want to go directly into the highly radiated area. But
so Mason and Taeyeon both going down. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So the two of you kind of move up, and I will say you probably all move as a group until the point where Taeyeon's suit starts registering like slightly increased elevation of radiation levels, and then the two of you proceed alone from there. You get probably like I would say probably about you'd get like a still within a long distance of the group before coming to the place where Mason first noticed that sort of like disturbance. Where you are right now by this point the cloud has the kind of cloud of dust and fallout has largely dissipated, except for where you have just been walking. But kind of looking around the area, you don't immediately see anything upon initial inspection.
I very purposely, as I'm walking, I want to kick up dust and just see if it lands on anything that appears to be not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You give me a quick perception. This will be an intellect task, and the difficulty of which I believe is going to be, I think the difficulty of this is going to be 5.
5. Okay. Intellect. Do I have anything to help with perception? I don't think so.
I'll say you can use Mason as an asset here, seeing as how like you're both kind of like examining this area.
Yeah. Okay then. So that's a difficulty of 4. Oh, task involving sight.
There you
I
go.
remember that I have that now.
There you go.
So that brings it down to a 3. Okay, I'm gonna use 2 free levels of effort and intellect to bring it down to a 1. Yeah. Yeah, I was rolling that.
Okay.
That's a decent chance.
Sounds good.
15.
Okay. As you kind of kick up the dust and you kind of sit and watch for a second, you notice that as the dust cloud slowly begins to dissipate around you, you can see in one particular area, like kind of just sort of off ahead of you and to the left, you can see where there is like a place where the dust isn't quite settling the way that it should be, seemingly parting around like sort of an empty patch of air.
Okay. Can I tell what the size of this air patch is? Is
You
it like
can.
a ship or a person?
You can tell because as you notice it and you sort of begin focusing on it, you watch as it moves, and in that specific moment, you see as like the illusion falls away, and you see a sort of large serpent-like creature that has sort of a very almost bird-like sort of beak, as it sort of like rears up, and as it does so, you can see that there's kind of these like tendrils sort of on its back, like very short, sort of spiky kind of tendrils, and as you can see, as it sort of like suddenly comes into sight, there's another one that sort of like shimmers into existence, and you watch as sort of two like arms that end in like kind of chitinous blades like detach themselves from its side as it looks at you, and then just begins slithering forward. Here we go.
Oh,
Let's.
How far away are you guys from us?
They're a long
Like a
distance
long
away,
distance.
so
Long
like
distance,
at
yeah.
least 100 feet or so.
Cool.
I knew it. I feel like Tanner definitely come across like cloaking ships, and his Ray's was like,
good call.
something's off.
Excellent.
I'm sure it's still got the jump on us a little bit, huh? Or do we have somewhat of a...
So I am giving initiative to the creatures first,
Yeah.
because they did a little bit get the jump on you.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me too.
So give me 1 second here.
Excellent.
So, giving initiative to them, you see as the two of them just sort of like streak forward. I just gotta make sure I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, one of them sort of like streaks towards Mason, and the other one you can see as it sort of like arches its back a little bit, and it kind of like curls in on itself, and you watch as like this sort of spiky tendrils on the back raise up and then just fling forward. Let me just make a real quick
Excellent.
double check here. And Taeyeon, I'm gonna need you to make a speed defense roll, the difficulty of which is... Oh no, sorry, I need both of you to make a speed defense roll, the difficulty of which is going to be 6.
Ooh, okay. So I'm trained in speed defense, so it bumps it down to 5.
See, am I trained or...
No, I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna use a level of effort, a free level of, no, not free level of effort, but I'm gonna use a level of effort to bump it down to 4.
Freeman, I believe your power shift assists you.
Absolutely. I'm just looking for the what detective gives me. I forgot. I think or solving mysteries. Sorry, solving mysteries gives me something as well. Yeah, I'm trained in speed defense tasks here because of out of harm's way.
Dope.
Ooh. I'm usually not used to getting jumped. I used to have my resonance filled up, so I can only bump it down to a 4.
Okay.
Oof.
And dexterity
That's
power
all
shift.
Stimulate doesn't apply to that, right? Since it's not a...
No, is it a
actually,
task?
It
might.
is. Yeah, I think
It
it
is
is.
any
Yes!
task, yeah.
Task,
Thank goodness,
Reduce
because
the
I
or
rolled
action.
terribly.
Action?
Oh, it's action?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know tasks and roles. Tasks is definitely different from a
Yes,
defense
it is.
roll,
It
but
is.
I don't know about action. So
Yeah. Action is its own thing. So I don't think that it applies here because like.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cool.
I don't
I
think so.
don't make it then. I take the hit.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me roll. I'm
Yeah.
gonna roll on a 3.
Okay. Difficulty 3.
Yeah.
Okay. You need 9 or better.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, here is basically what. So Mason, you see the spikes coming and are able to just sort of like twist out of the way as like they just sort of come flying past you. Taeon, you take a couple of these, and when they hit you, they deal 6 points of damage.
Ooh. So I have 4 armor, so that soaks.
Yes.
4 of it.
But then you watch as they basically just sort of like almost like they just absorb. And I need you to make a might defense roll.
Oh fuck. Okay. Okay. For might defense roll.
The difficulty of which is going to be 6.
Oh, I'm fucked. I'm gonna use 3 levels of effort would be 7 points. Oh, that's a lot. I want to go 2 levels of effort. To make it.
I have a question to clarify something about, because I have fleet of foot, and it says if you succeed at difficulty 2 speed roll, you can run a short distance and do an action.
That's only if
or is that
that's, no.
something? In...
Speed roll. That's only if you make us. So the way that that's supposed to work, we sort of negate this. We don't usually think because your power shift covers that.
True.
But
right.
basically, it's if you make it. That's after you make an action.
Right.
Then you make, like, if you didn't have the power shift, then you have to make a difficulty 2 roll, and then you could move. But we normally ignore that because your power shift covers that.
Okay. Yeah, shucks. Gotcha. I thought I could help, but
I actually have a power shift and resilience that I didn't know about. So I'm able to bump it down to a so it was 6. Use 2 levels of effort. So that's a 4. 1 level from power shift. That's a 3. I'm gonna roll on that.
Okay, you need a 9 or better.
14.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you feel like you don't feel it, but you do see the spikes as they hit you. They just seem to like absorb. Like it's almost like, you know how like mercury will kind of like, you know, just sort of like absorb into.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. And as it does,
okay.
like the readings on your suit just spike into the red on radiation.
Oh, okay.
Ow. Yeah, the other one is going to rush up to Mason, is going to take the sort of like chitinous blades and strike. I need you to make another speed defense roll, Mason, the difficulty of which is also going to be 6.
okay.
How big are these things?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because they are sort of like this almost like serpent-like body, but basically from where they are upright, there is still a significant amount of tail behind them, but from where they are upright, they stand just a little over 7 feet tall.
Cool.
Right. Okay, doing the same things as before. Which brings me down to a 3, and I'm going to spend a level of effort to bring it down to 2.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm going to roll.
All right, you need a 6 or better.
14.
Okay, so as this thing comes and swings its blade-like arms at you, you are able to just sort of like dodge and weave between them as it strikes at you. The kind of like bird-like beak and multifaceted eyes just sort of like coming for, like sort of like darting in at you as it strikes. You were able to avoid this creature, but with that said, is now the crew's turn. So what would y'all it's up to you what order anybody goes in.
I think staggering backwards from that hit, because that was pretty intense, I immediately touch my chest and use resonance field to give me a little bit more of an advantage the next time I need to do a defense roll. The one that attacked Mason, is it close to me?
Yeah. It's not within I wouldn't say it's within immediate range. Yeah, you and Mason were kind of standing next to each other, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, I'm just gonna immediately shoot point blank with my rapid
Perfect.
attack. 'Cause,
Yeah. All right, this is going to be a difficulty. Hold on, let me just double check. This is actually going to be a difficulty 5.
Okay, so I'm point blank,
Mhm.
so brings it down to a 4. Got 2 levels of 2 power shifts and accuracy, so that brings it down to a 2. And I'm trained in medium weapons, that brings it down to a 1. And it's a speed. 1's enough. I don't want to waste anything.
All right, yeah.
So
You just need a 3 or better then.
yeah. A 6. So I hit.
Yeah, you do. How much damage is that?
And I'm gonna use my power shift and medium blaster to add damage to it. So I think that's +3, and then medium weapons is a 4.
Yeah.
4, I think. So 7 points of damage, and I'll fire point blank.
Okay. Yeah, you can see as you fire, it does damage, but you can see that a good chunk of the damage is absorbed by the
Ooh.
sort of scale like like the sort of like hardened. It's not even scales really. It's just it's because I said it's a serpent-like body, but only in shape. Like in terms of like its actual construct, it almost looks like this sort of like if you were to remove the scales of a snake and it's just skin and muscle, like you can see kind of like the rippling muscle underneath. But you watch as like it kind of like chars like a portion of the exterior of this creature, but it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you would have hoped.
Damn it. Okay. Well, noted. And that would be the end of my turn.
Sounds good. Who's next?
I have an idea.
Uh-huh.
Because Mason's still flying
Sure.
and kind of has an idea that we could rejoin the group if Mason flew and dragged Taeon with him.
Okay.
But he's gonna give Taeon a look to see if they can have like a conversation. Like, I'm still flying. Should I just drag you out of here real quick?
Yeah, let's go.
And so like Mason's gonna fly and kind of and get Taeon and fly backwards while Taeon's just like doing pot shots.
Yeah. So yeah, you just like as you're kind of like dodging out of the way of these attacks, you just like your eyes meet for a second. Taeon nods and you just like rush over, grab him, and swoop out basically.
Do they follow?
What? Yes, they appear to be following. So I'll say that's gonna be like your action and all that
That's
sort of stuff. So like,
perfect.
but you are able to get back to the group basically. So who is next? There are now these like horrifying radiation worm creatures coming at you.
Yeah, they came out of this like pit essentially, right? So we see our
Literally,
friends
yeah.
getting pulled. Like we see Mason literally pulling Taeon out, and these horrifying worm creatures follow them out of the pit. That's,
pretty much.
That's
Yep.
what's happening. Great.
Mhm.
Cool.
It's like somewhere in between a shallow crater and a valley. This basically is like it's like where they're coming out of.
I have an idea if you are still looking.
Yeah, you can go. I think I know what I'm gonna do, but you go first.
Okay. I'm gonna try to burning light one of them because I have
Okay.
a long range distance on that.
Interesting.
Does
Okay.
Send a beam of light at a creature within long range. Tighten the beam until it burns, and then it does damage if I hit.
Okay. Does it specify at all like? That's fine. Don't worry about it. You're good.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that like when it does it specify at all like what if any kind of damage it does? Because I
Just
suspect that
says
I
5 damage.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't say specific
Okay. Continue.
damage type.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, she has a little like there's like a spark of glow from like her chest kind of, and she goes and this big burst kind of comes out and like a magnifying glass and like she kinda,
like
moves
tightens
and
the beam,
tightens
yeah.
and
Yeah.
shoots out.
All
The
right.
closest one to my friends is what I want to hit.
Sounds good. The difficulty is 5 actually on this. So.
Okay. Do I have any? Oh, I have a power shift in this one. I don't do combat. I forget. Oh my god, I have 3 power shifts in this. The whole thing. I put all of my power shifts into this one.
Okay. Sorry,
Super strong lady.
I just want to point out that Bina has routinely brought down difficulty 11 tasks to like 0 basically, and like
Yep.
most of her power shifts are an ability she doesn't even use. I just want everybody to be. I want us all to be imminently aware of that fact.
I have power just for like the fun of it all. I have power shifts in Burning Light this one, and Thrall, and Sight. Task Evolving Sight. Those are my power shifts. The only thing I use regularly is Task Evolving Sight. Anyways, okay. Sorry, you said 5?
Difficulty 5.
In my head, sheets the list.
Okay.
I do it.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I'm gonna roll. Hold on. I'm gonna roll.
Okay.
Anyways, the 3.
Okay.
I got it anyway.
You watch as the beam sort of tightens and hits the closest one to the two of them, and seemingly have no effect on it whatsoever.
Did they react at all to a bright burst of light?
Didn't seem to.
No.
I am going to offer you a GM intrusion.
I'm gonna take it.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna give what Peach is next to me, so you can have the other one.
Yay.
Oh, good golly. Okay.
Let's see, what is this one? That's not relevant. What do we got? I haven't used the deck in a long time, so I'm pulling it. So yeah.
Deck,
Oh yeah.
Again, not relevant. Okay, actually, this is solid. So, and very relevant actually. So, as you sort of like widen your posture to sort of like brace against sort of the attack that you just sort of leveled at this creature, that seemingly had no effect on it whatsoever. You sort of, forgetting yourself a little bit, kind of kick up some of the dust around, which like gets into your eyes. And
my eyes, I need those to see.
yeah, the difficulty of all actions is increased by 1 step until you use your action to clean them.
Ah,
Oh.
no.
So like basically like there's just like
I got pocket sand attack.
You sand attack yourself.
I sand attack myself.
all right.
Oh, this environment. Okay.
This is fun.
All right.
Terrified.
Peach, you got
Okay.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of seeing these creatures emerge from the pit, these horrifying creatures, I'm going to use Nightmare to conjure a nightmare here in this fight. So basically
yeah.
what you see is a like smoke just kind of like starts to cover Peach's skin, like almost like there's like a like a smoke machine, or like just a really like sudden burst of smoke kind of covering her, and then her eyes like kind of glow in kind of the bright way that they do sometimes, and then the smoke, I don't know how far. The thing about Nightmare, it doesn't have like a range listed. It just says create a nightmare. So what I want to do is I want the smoke to like basically like fly off of her across to like be in front of the creatures, and then it forms like the smoky figure of like a larger Onira essentially, but like more like kind of like intangible, like not solid, like more kind of like a smoky kind of large ghost figure. And I'm gonna have the nightmare have the feature horrify. So instead of making a normal attack, the nightmare's attack horrifies the target. It drops to its knees or similar appendages. Takes 3 points of damage. It ignores armor, is dazed for a round. So
Cool.
that's what it does if it works.
All right. It makes the attack right now, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
great. So yeah, it's gonna be. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Is this like a speed attack, or is this an intellect-based attack?
I would assume it's an intellect-based attack.
Yeah, the sound of it.
Because I'm using specifically like the nightmare ability.
Sure,
It's an intellect-based ability.
Yeah. Then it is gonna be a difficulty 6. Then in that case.
Okay. Does stimulate work on this?
Yes, it's an
This is
action.
an action.
Okay.
It's an action.
So it'd be down to 3.
Yep.
And I have 2 free levels of effort
Hell yeah.
at this point.
So down to
intellect.
difficulty 1.
Yeah. And I'm gonna spend a level of effort so that I can
Perfect.
just do it. but I am going to roll.
Are
Just
you gonna
in
attack the
case.
one that is the same one that Bina did, which was the only injured one, or the other one?
Which one was like closer to us?
That's the one that's kind of the injured one.
Then yeah, that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
It kind of looks like Peach like astral projected. Like that was the
Yeah.
image I was getting.
I don't know,
like,
for some
shoots
reason I'm
across the
imagining
field.
like that there's still like it's almost like you're like there is still like the projection of smoke kind of connecting you
Like a
and
tether,
the, like
yeah.
like a tether.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And I
that's
kind of imagine like the her eyes glow for like a minute, kind of like the amber that they do, and then
Mhm.
it switches once the figure kind of actually appears. The glow kind of transfers from Peach to the nightmare.
Hell yeah. All right. You're gonna roll on a 1, difficulty 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
No, I spent effort.
Oh, that's
to-
right. You did.
but
You did.
I'm gonna roll just cause just a 7. nothing
Okay.
interesting.
Cool. So how much damage does that do?
So it does 3 points of damage, ignoring armor.
Dope.
The target drops to its knees. The target takes 3 points of damage, dazed for 1 round, during which its time all tasks are hindered.
Cool. All right. Yeah, you watch as the creature like fully in pursuit of hold on, I just want to double check. Okay, it's not extremely fast. But it is, you know, rushing to kind of like keep up with the two. You watch as it just sort of boom, like kind of goes down. Like its whole like it's a snake. Its whole body is a knee. It just
Body is a
Its
knee.
whole body is a knee.
don't fucking fact check me on that. Anyway, it just like goes. I'll just say it like goes like down onto like its stomach, like it's no longer sort of like upright as it was before. Just kind of goes down onto like its underside, fully just basically prone, and just sort of stops moving for a moment, and like it halts its pursuit for a moment. Great. I think that's everybody, right? Everybody has gone. Y'all, yeah.
I think so.
It does bring it back to them, which like
Yep.
mostly the only thing that they can do at this point is just like chase, which is what they like. The one that is like unhindered basically just sort of you watch as it also goes down onto like its stomach and then just continues to slither. It's no longer upright, picking up speed, so basically it spends its whole turn just getting to you that way. The other one gets about half as far, but it basically like, yeah, doesn't move quite as fast. But so you've got one that's basically just like right on top of you right now, and the other one that is a little ways back. So actually, hold on, let me just double check something real quick. Okay, cool. So here's what actually happens. They both get equally close. Like they go the same, like not quite to you. But as soon as they are both within a short range, you watch as the spikes just sort of from both of them. So twice, I need all of you to make speed defense rolls.
But the one is dazed, right? It can't.
Oh.
Can it attack? It can't attack, right? It says
said
it's dazed.
Its attacks are hindered, correct? Its actions
Oh
are
yeah.
hindered.
Okay.
So like one of these is going to be easier than the other for
Okay,
you.
okay.
But so here's how this goes. So the first one is, we're going to say the one that is unhindered gets to go first. So the first one, this is a speed defense task, the difficulty of which is 6.
Okay.
So
Okey-dokey.
go ahead and
Find them there.
count up everything you got.
Okay,
I
I'm-
assume Bina did not activate her shield yet.
No, because I suck at doing that.
It's okay, you're not in
The
combat
thing is,
very
though,
often.
Last week I was like, as soon as we move through this fourth field, I'm gonna put my shield up, so I have it up and open, and I forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no. So I'm trained, and I have a power shift in speed
Dope.
or dexterity, so down to 4.
Hell yeah.
I'm trained and I'm using 1 level of effort.
I'm gonna use a level of effort too.
Unfortunately, it's in short range, not immediate range. So I can't use my intellect for this.
Yep.
Can I be able to bring it down by the use of the fact that I'm flying while also being really fast?
No, because the flight doesn't actually change your movement.
Yeah.
True.
It just gives you a new dimension of movement.
Yeah.
I rolled a
I guess.
2.
That's very true. That's true.
So I reduced it by 2, so that's 4. I'm just gonna roll with 4.
All right, you
So
need a
12
12 or
was better.
better.
Reduced to 4. I spent.
Okay.
17.
wait, I'm gonna use the XP that Bina gave me to re-roll that.
What's a 4? It's a 12?
12.
I
Yeah.
rolled a 12!
Oh.
Okay.
I
So
just need a 6 or better.
No, wait.
Taeyeon succeeded,
No,
right?
no, hold on. My
I rolled a
eyeballs are
natural
messed up.
20.
Oh
I had-
no! Yeah.
That's right.
So I don't make it.
Oh no.
Oh
No.
Oh,
So Taeyeon succeeded. Bina didn't. Mason?
okay. Yeah, I brought it down to a 9,
Okay.
and I got a 5.
So Mason
Oh
did not
no!
So I failed, and then I used the XP that Bina gave me to re-roll, and then I rolled a natural 20.
Ooh.
Incredible. So you get a major effect.
Can I like help someone not
Sure.
fail as badly?
Sure,
Like, can I help
absolutely.
someone not get the full effect?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Who would you like to assist?
Probably Bina, because she has shit in her eyes.
And also, like, the two of you are literally still standing next to each other. So, like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I feel like Bina is
like,
the one I'd naturally reach
Also,
for.
technically,
just to
Mason
help.
is still, like, kind of half carrying Taeyeon. So, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it makes the most sense. So,
Plus, I would have made you would basically if you give me an asset, kind of.
Pretty
'cause
much,
I would
yeah.
have made it.
yeah. So, we'll say,
Yeah.
Peach and Bina
true.
succeed. Taeyeon and Mason are not quite so... Or Taeyeon succeeds, too. Mason
succeed,
is
yeah.
not quite so lucky. So, Mason, I need you to make a might defense roll.
Oh no.
The difficulty of which is 6.
A might defense roll.
Mm-hmm.
A might defense roll. Well, y'all.
We are not a might party.
No, I don't have. What do you even add to that? What do you do? I've never.
If you
don't
have
have-
a power shift,
Athletically
if you have a power
defense.
shift in resilience, that gives you.
Oh, you know
bonus
what?
on might.
Hold on. I have a power. I do have. I hold on. I do. I have 2 power shifts in resilience.
Ooh.
I never use it because I'm usually too fast and it doesn't matter.
You're just too good normally, but
Yeah. I am too fast. I would catch it. Anyway. All right. So you have.
So that'll help me.
So
in
that brings it
this.
down 2, right? You have 2 power shifts in that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're down to a difficulty 4 on that one.
Otherwise, I think I'm just.
Get ready,
taking
everybody,
this.
because we're about to do this for round 2. Let's do it a second time. Actually, if y'all want to calculate your stuff, that next one is going to be a difficulty 5, except for Bina, which is still a difficulty
So-
6. Anyway,
So that's.
I'm
Okay.
gonna do the same thing.
okay. So Freeman, what?
I don't know if the skill assessing danger is going to help me at this point, but I'm going to throw it out there because I am going to try to outthink where it's going to strike the worst, but that's all I got, I think. Otherwise,
I don't know. No, because it has already hit you. Basically, that's not
right,
not what
that's a
this
good
is.
point.
That's
So
I'm
there's
saying
none
no.
of that.
No. All right.
What did I bring it down to?
You-
2
Did you bring it down to 2? I was only paying
or
attention.
3?
So you've got the 2 power shifts. You spent a level of effort.
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay.
I think that's
so
what I'll
you're-
do.
Okay, so you're down to a difficulty 3. You need a 9 or better.
Okay, here I go.
Okay.
7.
Okay. You see that like the spikes like hit you, and they kind of stick, and again, just like they did with Taeyeon, they just like absorb. You, you kind of flying through the air holding Taeyeon, you both just careen out of the air and slam into the ground. And Taeyeon, as you sort of like recover and you glance over, Mason is unconscious.
Oh, crap. I just turn around to face Bina and Peach and go, he's unconscious. I'll keep them busy. And
What?
Yeah.
Whoa!
But now y'all get to do this process again. So I would like for y'all to make those. Oh,
Yeah, I
also
made my
sorry,
roll
Mason.
already.
You also took 6 points of damage from.
From the initial.
Yeah.
Okay.
From
So the unconsciousness isn't just from damage. It's
Nope.
it's like an effect.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the effect of the absorption
Great.
thing.
Cool.
Yeah, you. So yeah, speed defense rolls. What did you all get down to?
I reduced it down to a 9 and I rolled a nat 20.
Hell yeah. Okay, you have a major effect then.
Can my major effect be pinning off a fast step to get in immediate range of these things, or would
Yeah.
that be too much?
No,
Okay.
totally.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, so I think I like dodge it, and like in the exact same dodge, you suddenly see me disappear and reappear right in front of the.
Like I'm imagining like it's like you just like combat roll into a far step and then just sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Caitlin. You got a 3.
No.
Okay.
Wait.
You reduced
sorry.
it. Wait, you reduced it down to what?
5.
Okay. So okay. Great.
What was the difficulty on this one?
The difficulty on this one was 5,
Okay.
except for Caitlin.
Except for me, mine was
For
6.
Bina, it was 6 still because she's. So like the creature is hindered, but Bina is also hindered. So.
Oh, fuck.
So it kind of cancels out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's difficulty 5 to begin with.
I can't
Sending-
reduce it like at all. I have to spend if I want any reduction.
Yeah.
They don't have my shield up.
Okay. I need to get a 2 or I think it's down to a 2. Yeah, it's down for a 2 to me because I spent
Okay.
a level of effort. So let me roll. So I need a what is a 4 or better, or no, 6 or better.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I totally forgot how the increments work for a second.
Me too.
17.
Apparently. 17. Okay, nice. Okay, so hey Bina, I need you to make a might defense roll, the difficulty of which is 6.
I
Oh
have to
my
roll at a
God.
6. I can't take that down at all. Because if I spend any might, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah, you gotta roll an 18 or better.
Oh my god.
It's
Okay.
killable.
You could theoretically.
It is
I will
possible.
say you could theoretically. Okay, did you roll?
7.
Okay,
No.
Ooh! Ouch!
that's okay.
Ouch!
Oh,
That's
I
too
wish
bad.
you had a plus one.
Because I was gonna say you could have spent XP to reduce, but that's
Oh, I wouldn't have.
okay. Fair enough.
I wouldn't have done that.
Okay, well,
I've made this low might bed. I'm going to lie in it.
fair enough.
Shit.
And you definitely are,
Kill.
because you take, first of all, you take 6 points of damage as these spikes hit you, and then
What kind of damage?
it would be the might first
Oh,
by default.
God.
By default, might first.
Oh god.
Guess how much might I have left?
And then
What, like
Three?
3?
as these like spikes just sort of absorb, you fall. You
Get us
just
down.
unconscious on the spot.
Oh.
But on the plus side, it is your turn again. So
I can't believe I rolled a 17. I'm so mad.
Oh,
That's the worst
so
roll I think
close.
ever.
wow.
So I'm in. Am I in immediate range of one
Yes.
or both of these?
You're in immediate
things?
range of. Technically, you're in immediate range of both of them. I think. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna fire at both with rapid attacks. I'm gonna fire twice. First one, I'm point blank, 2 inaccuracy, 1 level of effort.
So this is difficulty 5, by the way.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
difficult
So I
five.
reduce it down to a 1 for
Okay.
the first. For the 05. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
18.
they're big and not particularly fast. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And 18?
18. Yeah, 100%. You definitely
Is
hit
that
on
a
the first one.
minor effect?
18
Or
gives
was it
additional
19?
damage.
Additional damage.
I believe
How
it's.
much?
I think so. It's 4, 3, 2. 2 additional damage.
2 additional damage. Okay. So I'm going to be using my power shift in medium blast to increase the damage. It's a 7 plus 2, so 9 points of damage.
Holy shit.
Into the first one, and then I'm going to turn to the hindered one and fire again.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't at the. I got it. Okay.
Oh, if that was wasn't for the hindered, I'm going to do the same thing to the hindered, to the non-hindered one anyway.
Right. So
Yeah.
go for that one. Yeah.
Gotta shoot them while they're down. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have to math properly. Okay, there we go. Great. And then to the hindered one.
Yeah.
The reason it makes a difference which one it was to is because
Because of the damage they've already done.
yes, the additional.
Yeah, okay.
Well, also because of the additional damage that you rolled, right? Like
Oh
you-
yeah, because I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So again, doing the same thing, so I reduce it down to I think it's 0 because it's hindered, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Still gonna roll,
Mm-hmm.
just in case.
Mhm.
I rolled a nat 20.
Oh.
Yes.
So that is, I'm gonna use my power shift again to increase the damage. So that's 4, 7, and is it plus 4
Mhm.
or major effect? Right.
It's up. Yes.
I would like to go for a major effect
Sure.
on this one. Can I stun it? Is that a major effect I can do?
Hold on. How much? What's the total damage that you just did?
Total is 7 points of damage.
7. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You could.
Yeah, so I want a major effect to stun this one, so I don't have to worry about
Great.
it
All right. Yeah.
for a turn. And yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Great. Who else? I think Peach is the only other person.
I guess
up,
I'm
right?
the only other conscious one
Yeah.
right now, right? So
Mhm.
I guess it's my turn.
It is. Yes,
Great
that's
way to
correct.
figure out initiative. So I am going
Initiative by
to-
default.
yeah, pretty much. I'm going to do Mason and Abina. They don't look physically super hurt, right? You guys don't look super injured.
Might.
Bina might.
Bina probably looks a little more hurt than Mason does, but like you've definitely seen Bina in worse shape. I'll say that.
Okay. I want to just make sure like I'm standing like in front of Bina so that like she is shielded as she is unconscious
Okay.
a little bit. And I'm gonna have my nightmare attack the one that's not dazed.
Sure, okay.
or the other one that Taeyeon, the
Sure,
different
sure.
one that the one Taeyeon's done.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's gonna be the same kind of attack to do
Yeah,
the 3 ignoring armor and have it be dazed. So
Okay, and it's gonna be start out as difficulty 6. So
okay. So automatically that I'm gonna use 2 levels of effort to drop out to 4.
mhm.
Do we have anything else here? I'm gonna spend another. I'm gonna spend another 2 levels of effort to just.
difficulty 2 then is what you need. You need a 6 or better right now.
Okay. Math.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. 16.
Yeah. Okay. It's 3, right? 3 damage.
Yeah, 3 ignoring armor, and it is dazed.
Nice.
And it falls to its appendages.
Yes, it falls on its appendages. Yes, correct. It just you watches it once it like falls right in front of Taeyeon. As the nightmare sort of just like swoops in, surround and kind of engulfing it for a moment,
Yeah.
and then sort of whooshing back.
I like the image of like the smoky form, like like something so intangible, then like knocking
Mhm.
onto its knees the
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah. And as it falls, you can see that it is a little dazed here. That brings us right back around to the top with them. As you see there is Taeyeon, you watch a like there's a flash like of reflection of like metal as something like just sort of comes like kind of sailing through the air, and as you look up, you like just sort of reflexively, you just sort of like immediately you're like, that's a grenade.
Oh, okay,
Immediately
yeah.
you're just like, okay. And I need you, Taeyeon, to make a speed defense roll. The difficulty of this one is going to be 4, as this grenade appears to have been aimed, but it still has the potential of getting you in its
Yeah.
yeah.
Does the blast happen within immediate range of me?
Mhm.
Perfect, because now I can make an intellect roll.
Incredible.
As my resonance field just suddenly becomes apparent again, and I'm specialized in an intelligence defense roll, so that brings down to a 2. And I'll use 3 levels of effort to make it a 0. I mean, I can't think of any reason why I'll need to aim for major or minor effect, but I will roll for it
Sure.
because I like tempting fate.
Right.
A 14.
Okay, great. So you watch as this grenade sort of like sets down. You can see like the like around the equator of the grenade, these like lights that are sort of like running, kind of rotating around the thing, and then they just like go faster and faster, and then they just stop and just sort of are bright, and then you watch as the grenade just shoots out. An eruption of cryogenic foam just sort of sprays out from the grenade's eruption site, and engulfs both of them. You see, yeah, no, that one does not make it. Actually, neither of them do. You watch as they both just fully frozen in this like cryogenic foam, essentially. Both of them just like freeze. You watch as their forms freeze and just begin to, you see that their iced over forms just crack up the middle, and they just begin to, like, a couple of the like pieces fall off of one of them. And as you're staying there, sort of in the moment, sort of like dust kicked up all around you, you look over, where you see a figure wearing just like sort of rise up out of the dust, like off the dusty ground, just sort of rise up, wearing like basically like long like coat, very like tattered coat, with sort of like a hood up, like face wrapped. There's clearly like a rebreather sort of mask of some sort. You cannot see, there's not an inch of skin exposed, all of it like wrapped in this cloth. There you can see from the wrapping around the face underneath the hood, you can just see goggles. There is strapped to this individual's back, there is some sort of like longer pole arm that seems to have been fashioned out of scrap metal. There's some sort of like technological implements on it that also appear to have just sort of been like kind of like jury rigged onto it, sort of held together with like wire and what appears to be, like in some cases, just like tied on with cloth. This individual just sort of stands, standing at looking at the group of you, and just sort of, yeah, just.
I take it you're the Outcast.
There is probably the fastest draw you've ever seen, Taeyeon. You see, there's suddenly just like kind of almost blink and you'll miss it, but there is a makeshift firearm in this in this individual's hands, very suddenly sort of pointed at you, and you can see. Where did you hear that name?
I mean, Danin, we just need your help. We heard that you would be the ideal person to help us navigate through these lands, and Taylor like points at the frozen snake creatures, and it seems like we definitely need help.
The individual just sort of stares for a moment, looking at the pair of you. At this point, Mason, you start kind of stirring, and like you, as your eyes sort of flutter open, you feel sick to your stomach. And there's a, as you kind of like look, Bina, you start to like just a couple moments later, you also same thing. You feel sick.
Ow.
This individual kind of
Ouch.
like looks over the group of you and says,
We don't.
I don't do help. The only reason you're not dead right now is because I know you're not Sona's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're not. Is there anything we can do to pay you for help? Because we do need to find something here, and
Do you need
from what I
help?
heard,
Can exchange favors.
The individual says, if you're here, there's nothing that you have that I want. And he sort of points at the two on the ground and just says, those two are going to be suffering from acute radiation sickness after that. Should look to that before it's too late. Sort of like spins the firearm and holsters it, and then walks over to like the two corpses, and you can see like pulls like just a makeshift knife, seemingly fashioned out of scrap metal and cloth, and just starts hacking some of the spikes off of the creatures.
We're not from here. And we can get you out if that's what you want.
Yeah, we can get you out of here in exchange for being our guide. You don't want to stick around here, do you?
All right, I want Peach, with an asset from Bina. I want you to make. This is gonna be a persuasion here.
oh,
I was literally about to say the same thing word for word, Caitlin, and we were like,
Yes.
same.
while this is
Same
happening,
page.
I'm gonna go over to Bina first because I feel like Bina's probably suffering the most.
What's the difficulty on this?
The difficulty on this is gonna be 5.
Okay.
Actually, no, sorry. Hold on, because you're basically what you're trying to convince him of here isn't
I
necessarily.
don't think I'm gonna have to roll.
It's
so
not
I just
necessarily
wanna
to
check.
help you. The difficulty is like
No.
convincing him that you can help him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured.
So, like, I think the difficulty on this is actually going to be 8 because
Okay, I will say
Mhm.
he did see the figure of was the nightmare in range of that explosive.
Yes.
How much damage did it do?
It did 6 points of damage.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter, but just for cool effect, I want it would have affected her too. She takes the nightmare takes damage, so it would have like gone over her skin essentially. Like the cryo freeze would have gone over her, and then like the shadow would have like exploded off, and then it would have dissipated. So he would have seen that insane thing
Yes.
that would have happened just in case that affects him at all.
Sure.
Yeah,
Guys seen
I'm gonna
some
use
weird
repair
shit, though.
flesh on Bina.
Yeah.
So if you do a recovery roll at any point, you can add an additional 2 to that recovery roll.
You said it was 8 difficulty.
Yes. 8 difficulty.
And I'm gonna go over to Mason and do the same.
Down to a 7
Thank
because
you.
of the asset from Bina. So, yeah.
So this would be a pleasant social interaction. We're not hostile to each other at this moment.
Sure. We'll count it. It's I guess.
We're being pleasant. So then I'm specialized, so that brings it down from a 7 to a 5. I'm also specialized in persuasion. This persuasion roll, so that's down to 3.
Okay.
And
It's like Peach's whole thing.
I
This roll is
know.
Peach's entire thing, so.
I know. Okay, I think that's just from those what I have, and then it's down to a 3 now.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna I have the 2 free levels of effort
Mm-hmm.
for this roll for intellect, and then I'm gonna roll because it's 3 or better.
Sounds
Can
good.
I have given encouragement, or does my asset that caps it? That's all I can help. I didn't ask because you already let me give an asset, so I didn't know if I.
I sort of think in this case those would probably fill the
need the-
same place.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought, but I figured I'd double
Yeah.
check. Cool.
And then 4, 3.
Hey, Drac, what was that thing again that you did to assist with hit?
Yes. So
Wonder
when
if
you
that
do a
ever
recovery roll, you
worked.
can add an additional 2 to whatever you roll. So then you can add that many points. You kind
Thank
of see
you.
it as the like Aurora Borealis kind of energy comes off him, and I guess essentially it almost like rewinds the poison. So like you're not still not doing great, but it's a bit
Mhm.
earlier on. You're feeling the effects of the early on poison rather than whatever it's doing to you now.
At least my wounds are closed.
Yeah.
Which was gonna happen. Nice. Nice. I'm almost back to normal.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 1 level of effort
Okay.
actually, so that I don't have to roll, but I'm gonna roll anyway just
Great.
to see here. I was afraid. I got nervous while I was sitting here waiting. 12.
Okay.
That's fine.
You can see that there's a very slight hesitation as he's like goes to hack off the next spikes. Doesn't turn back to you, just kind of like hacks off the spikes and just like places them in like a satchel. He's got and just like doesn't respond to you right away. Just goes about his business doing this as Abriel immediately like leans down to like Bina and Mason and starts like taking readings.
Did what I could, but
Bina does a little bit of like an underskin glow, and it's like green. And she's like, she's being dramatic about it, but she's like, glowing green a little bit because she feels nauseous.
Yeah. The individual goes about their business and finishes up, and then kind of looks and kind of turns and just looks over your group, and just says, "Let's say I decide to help you, and I'm not saying I do. Either way, it's not safe to stay out here to talk.
yeah,
Okay.
I figured.
Follow me. I'll take you somewhere. Well, nowhere's safe exactly, but the closest thing to it."
Lead the way.
I appreciate getting out of the open. Don't want more of these things.
Abriel starts like helping the two of you to your feet. Jade sort of like taking like under supporting Mason. And
Oh, it's all right. I can still fly too, you know.
he nods. He's like, I don't know. Radiation sickness plus flight. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, you might puke, Mason, and then it might get on us.
Okay.
All right. You all begin moving off, following the Outcast across this blasted landscape, and that's where we're going to take our break.
I'm so terrified. I was like, I hope we get a Hail Mary coming in because I am not doing good.
You know what? Honestly, y'all
would've been okay.
between Taeyeon and Peach, y'all were able to bring them both down to like not quite. Well, the most injured one was at half, and the least injured one was only 1 point higher than that. So like, it was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think once Taeyeon is within immediate range and has his resonance filled up, I think he's pretty beefy.
So
I did my strongest ability and dealt 0 damage even though I hit.
So just so that okay, in theory, this isn't. So it like basically just reset everything like to how it was before we started the stream. Great.
Back in time, damn it.
Legitimately, I have no idea.
Sorry guys, it was all me.
No, like legitimately, like it reset itself. So like it's not just that I was muted, like the settings reset, so it was using a different mic that isn't even plugged in. So anyway, I don't know what that was, but everything crashed. So but could not have been timed any better. Anyway, let's get back into this. Where we left off, the crew had fought some terrifying like radiation worm creatures and were sort of at the last second bailed out by the Outcast, the mysterious individual they were told about. So that's where we'll pick up right now. We'll actually pick up a little bit later as you are entering essentially like a kind of camouflaged shack, basically. And you approach as you approach and the outcast begins like moving some of the like camouflage out of the way to reveal a hatch, you can see as he reaches for it and just starts like turning the hatch and opens the entrance, and stands aside as you all sort of like crowd in. As he's doing this, whoever is the last one of you in begins to feel like a singular drop of moisture land on you, and as it does, you can see as it lands and just immediately begins to sizzle on whatever it lands on, and then just dissipates. If it lands on exposed skin, it's like there's this kind of burning, stinging sensation, but like otherwise, you just see it sort of sizzle and smoke.
Nice place you have here.
He just shrugs and says, "Acid rain, just one more of the charms of this place." And as you go in, he like pulls the hatch closed behind him and just starts ratcheting it from the other side. Just in time, y'all begin to hear the sound of the rain just sort of open up on the roof of the shelter. Inside the shelter, it's not particularly impressive. It truly is just sort of a shack, but as you look around, you're getting the impression that was designed to you can see very clearly where it has like anti-radiation protection and stuff like that. Looking a little closely at it, you can see actually I would say that Abriel, looking around, would say this is a prefab field research unit, isn't it? The outcast looks and just sort of nods once as he like pulls back the hood and starts like slowly like unwrapping the cloth. As he does, he continues doing this. He reveals the like kind of pallid face of a Nelfin, like gaunt. You can see sort of like the sunken cheeks and eye sockets. Very much you can see that this individual has sort of like is pale, yes, but also you can see the sort of like almost sort of vaguely glowing greenish veins that are glowing in the similar hues to the trees that you saw in the valley. Sort of just beneath the skin. He kind of finishes unwrapping, takes his goggles and like hangs them on a rack nearby. The same thing with the coat, and just sort of hangs it up. And he says, "Sit anywhere. Not a whole lot of chairs, but then again, not a whole lot of company out in a place like this."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Most people who come out this way end up dead, either by those things or players.
Yeah,
But not
heard.
you.
Not me.
I'm Taeon, by the way. You saved us, and I didn't really get any introductions.
Yeah, I'm Peach.
Mason.
I'm Jade. Abriel. He nods, says, You can call me the Outcast. Or Outcast. It's who I am. It's what I am.
Can't hear you, Caitlin.
Is it what you want to be?
Says, it's the only thing I know. So you said something about leaving.
Yes. We have a way in and out of here. We have a ship patrolling just outside the range of the station that seems to be based around this planet. So we are going to, after we find what we're looking for here, we're going to head back up there. And if you want out, we're more than happy to take you with us.
He kind of looks over your group and says, you can see as he kind of like reaches into a pocket of like he basically is wearing like essentially like cargo pants type things, like tactical kind of like cargo sort of pants. He like reaches into one of the pockets and sets and just sort of like closed fist sets something on the table, and Taeyeon, with a quick glance at it, you can tell he flicks a switch on it and you can tell that it's a detonator. And he says okay, you're not players and you don't look like you were actors. So,
No.
I'm going to ask, there's only two possibilities what you could be. The first is that you're exactly what you say you are, but much more likely, you're corporate. So,
Sorry, the poison and that comment.
We're
he just
explicitly
he
anti.
holds up like the detonator and he says, I want you to look around. In corners. There. There. And back there. Says, if you're corporate, we all go up in a blaze of glory. Right here. Right now.
Then we're just a bunch of weirdos then.
Yes,
Can I just say this? The corporates would not deserve to go up in a blast of glory. They just deserve to be silenced and not get any attention whatsoever.
There is a moment as he just sort of like, you can see his thumb just sort of like playing around the detonator. And then he just sort of clicks it closed and sticks it back in a pocket. Says, fine. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I assume we want us to at least tell you what we're here for, since I think what you wanted clearly to get off this planet. I think a month ago, it was something crash landed here, and we're looking for it. It's apparently landed in this, I suppose, for lack of a better term, I suppose, dead space. So we got sent over here and got told that someone known as the Outcast would probably be our best bets navigating this place and finding it.
You can see as he kind of regards you for a moment and says, well, they seem to be telling the truth. Says, yeah, I know. He says, just lay off. Nobody asked you. He says, all right. He says, yeah, I know what you're looking for. Might have seen it crash. Might even know where it is.
I definitely look to like just a quick side eye to Dina when they start talking to themselves.
Yeah, Jade is like openly just sort of like looking confused around the room.
Two things.
Mm-hmm.
Do I sense another set of emotions in here? And two, which I forgot about earlier during the listening thing, I have true senses, so I can see disguised as optical illusions.
Sure.
Sound mimicry, holograms.
No,
stuff
you
like
don't
that.
sense anybody in here, but
Okay.
the people that you can see.
Might you be able to take us to them?
I can, but I don't think you want to go there.
Why
Yeah.
is that?
This whole place is terrible, as you've gotten a taste of already. But there are places that are worse than others. It landed near one of them. Probably the worst place I've ever been. And I've been here for years. I've seen my share of terrible. No place is worse than that.
We don't really have much choice. This thing could either be a great boon or a huge danger, depending on what exactly it is.
Or someone who needs help.
Yes.
What exactly makes this area so much deadlier than the rest?
He very suddenly stands up, Peach, and just crosses the room and just stands like inches from your face and just stares at you. like not threateningly, like he's not like no threatening demeanor. He's just like just crossing.
Yeah,
his,
he's intense. He doesn't know how to interact.
He's just sort of like, just, like staring. Like you can see his eyes sort of like flicking all over your face. And then he just sort of takes a step back, and turns around. And you can see he's like steeples his fingers and like his lips are like you can see his eyes sort of moving back and darting back and forth, and his lips are like vaguely moving, but he's like not making any sound.
What am I getting off of him?
You are getting severe emotional whiplash. Like it's all over the place.
Oh, okay. He's working out how he feels about stuff.
It's not even that. It seems like it's like there's no gradual shift between emotions like there normally is. It's just boom, instant. And he very suddenly, like once again, sort of like hands down, go like very like drop to his side, and he like turns back directly to all of you, and he just says, okay, here's the thing. There is says, what do you think exactly happens to? It says you've seen the Sonas, you've touched them, you know what they're like, you know what they are.
Yeah.
What do you think happens to all that stuff when a player dies? Well, when a player's Sona dies, it gets recalled. It gets pulled back. And then, but it's there's organic parts to it. Parts of it are organic, which means that it goes bad eventually. They got to get rid of it. So where do they put it? Welcome to the dumping ground for, well, all the corpse. Maybe not all of them. Maybe not the only dump, but anyway. Whatever's left, it ends up down here in the area that you're going to. It's not good. Do you know what happens to that stuff when it goes bad and when enough of it gets left and abandoned?
Radiation?
If only. It goes bad. Really bad. I can take you there. I don't think you want to go. And there's no guarantee any of us come back from that one.
I can't speak for everyone, but I think it's fair to say that we wouldn't ask you to put yourself in danger. So if the most you can do is point us in a direction, that's more than helpful. But we are going there.
You can see as like sort of there's a series of like facial tics just sort of very rapidly play out before he just sort of like takes a step back, and he just goes, no, we can't go. They have a death wish. That's fine. That's their business. No, I know. But if we could leave, is it worth it? It might be worth it. He's like, it's bizarre. It's like for a moment, it's like he is talking to you, but not at all. Like he's like addressing you, but like.
I think Taewon has like seen like similar things because like war is very scarring. So he's definitely encountered people who have some kind of trauma from encounters. So I think he's kind of like he's very purposely taken it in stride and not.
Yeah, this is very very kind of like. Very clearly showing the signs of somebody like yes, extreme trauma, but also extreme isolation for an extended period of time. Like this, it's
a lot of exposure to extended exposure.
Also,
to
a lot of
microdosing
exposure.
Radiation.
Yeah, and not on top of that, being a Nelfin, who like adapt over time to their environments.
To the landscape. Yeah.
Even a Nelfin would be hard pressed to adapt to like the levels of radiation of like constant background radiation that are always like. You know, that are present here, even at their lowest.
Not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The effect that could have on a Nelfin system, let alone their psychology, it's hard to say.
Am I feeling like with this ping pong conversation that he's having with himself, am I getting like with every thought a different like an emotional profile switch?
Not necessarily, but like it's not exactly like coordinated in that way. It's more
Alright.
like, and it's not even
Still
like,
a lot of fluctuation.
yeah. I mean, I'd say overall, like as you're starting to like get used to it somewhat, you'll notice that there's like overall there is sort of like the confusion for you in terms of like emotionality that you're sensing is coming. It's less like a sudden fluctuation of emotions, but rather just like there is an overall kind of like background mood, and then there's just random spikes here and there,
Cool.
little flashes. Um, it's overwhelming at first, but like the more you are able to sort of sit with it and kind of parse it, you realize that it's just sort of like flashes of like kind of just irrational emotional triggering, basically at periodic instances. Consistently, though, I will say this: consistently, whenever he is like thinking about or talking about this place that you're going, very consistently there is like a overwhelmingly palpable and lingering sense of dread.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Mr. Outcast.
Kind of
Question.
like looks at you.
All of the things that kind of exist here, are they like those creatures that you got for us? Do they all kind of hurt in the same way with the radiation, or is it different?
There's all kinds of things here. Some of them mutations such as those, others experiments left behind by corporations, some of them weapons. It's a proving ground for corporate he kind of frowns, says, sometimes words they
I
escape.
understand.
And he says, sometimes he kind of blinks for a second and just sort of sometimes corporations pay Trinity Star to have to use this area, the Dark Zone, as a testing ground for their latest weapons or experimentations. It could be military tech, it could be bioengineering, any number of things.
Do you know of any recent testings that happened?
I haven't seen a corporate ship in years, or maybe it was hours.
Yeah, no, I understand that time is weird.
He suddenly, like he did with Peach, is just like right up in your face, Taeon, very suddenly. He says, "You do understand, don't you?"
Yes, yes.
And then he just sort of like slowly leans back from you. Says, "Okay, I'll take you."
Sure?
Yeah. But we have to wait. We have to wait for the rain to pass.
Yeah.
He says, "And you." He points to Bina, and you. He says, "Don't go to sleep. You might not wake
Okay.
up again."
Okay.
I don't really much like sleep anyway, so.
I don't really either, so I think we'll be good.
Have you seen any other people come through here? We were told that sometimes people who violate their contracts or are in trouble, they get sent here. Is there an area, or is it just like general dumping grounds?
They get sent to the middle. From the
Is
middle,
that
they...
gonna be is that gonna be on our way to
So-
the point?
No, it's not. We avoid the middle. The creatures here, most of them are beasts, but some of them have enough intelligence to recognize that where food gets left. So, The middle are their hunting grounds. Nobody survives the middle. Not for long. The most I've seen is a day. I used to help
Okay.
them. I used to help them. But it doesn't matter. It never matters. It always ends the same. Always ends the same.
Still matters.
Always ends the same. And he's still muttering, repeating that, oh, always ends the same, turns away from you, and just begins busying himself. Yeah.
Do we have any rations on us, like any food?
Probably not.
Probably
We wouldn't
not.
have any.
I don't think we would have.
Okay.
Depending on.
Abriel, as he sort of has turned his back, Abriel
Mhm.
kind of looks at Mason and Bina, and she says, "He's right. Both of you are still suffering the effects of acute radiation sickness. If you lose consciousness, there's a very good chance you might not wake up again. I'll do my best, but there's not much that I can do to treat you here."
Can I try something?
Hmm?
I want to try to do energy protection against radiation on myself and see what happens.
Interesting. Okay. You feel that sort of general sort of like sickness that you've been feeling sort of ease slightly. It's not gone, but it has eased somewhat.
I smack Mason on the shoulder and do it to
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
It's that it's like a handprint that kind of glows and then it dissipates and kind of covers. You get that shimmer over your whole
Mhm.
body and it sinks in.
Yeah, the same thing. It doesn't go away, but it definitely eases significantly.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if that's gonna stick, but
I mean, looks like it's better than nothing.
helps for now.
You guys look a little less green.
Oh, Bina turns off the green glow that she's been doing. Yeah, she's being dramatic. Forgot that I was on.
Avriel just once again begins sort of scanning. She says, "Well, your radiation levels aren't down, but it seems like the deterioration to your cells has been slowed, as far as I can tell. So
Okay, I'll take
you've
that.
bought yourself some time, but we need to get this done fast."
Yeah.
Would it help if I adapted to my environment, as in like the radiation environment, or is this
So-
an effect that is
so
separate?
here's what I'm. Basically, the way that this works, the after effects of the gamma radiation spikes that you just both took fully, essentially is that the effect of it is that every day you have to make another might defense roll, and until you
will fail them all.
yes, if you fail them all, it legitimately says if you fail on the third one, if you fail, you go unconscious. If you fail on the third one, you do not wake up. And this goes, and you keep doing this every day until you succeed, and then it sort of basically is what. Now, I'm saying that you don't have to do that necessarily, if you can get to like proper treatment facilities
Yes,
before that
yeah.
point.
Gotcha.
So,
Yep.
but at least as long as you are not at proper treatment facilities, that's going to be your reality.
Sick.
So it's not like a damage thing, which I believe is what.
Fair.
But like
It's
flavor-wise,
basically-
the energy protection, I'm allowing it so that it what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it act as an asset on your might defense rolls when you
Sweet.
do this. So, yeah.
It's you gain 10 plus armor against damage of the type of energy that you choose. So I don't know if that particularly. It just I think would it just I don't know.
How long
It's your
does that
call.
last?
That's what it does.
How long does that last?
10 minutes, or you can gain +1 armor against that type of energy
Right.
for 24 hours.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that the effects of it aren't gonna be probably super helpful to you right
That's
now.
fair.
So,
I just give it a
yeah.
try.
Yeah.
it'd be different if you were taking radiation damage, but you're not.
Yeah.
So,
just existing with it in my body.
yes. Yeah. As far as Mason's adaptation, because that sort of works in a similar way, because like the way that the adaptation ability works is that it takes like it absorbs damage. I think it wouldn't. I mean, I'll say with adaptation because I don't think there's a strict time limit on how long that lasts. Correct? I don't think there is, but I also haven't read the ability in a while.
And I just like the that's hold on, I'm on the wrong tier. Second
because,
tier.
Yeah.
It's like
because if it's go ahead.
Yeah, you can adapt to a hostile environment for 24 hours.
Okay,
but
then that is going to give
different.
you. No, that's absolutely going to give you. It's gonna help you. That is absolutely going to help you. I believe, unless I am much mistaken, adaptation you can also use it on other people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
for an additional 6 intellect, I think.
Mm-hmm. So that absolutely would help. I would say that is enough to give you. I think that's because it absorbs 6 points of damage, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
I'm gonna say that's gonna give you a 2-step reduction on your might task, on your might defense. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep. So you could do that. It'll just double the cost, basically, like, cause or however it says it works, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're using it on Bina as well.
Yeah, it would be. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So it would cost 12 more to protect 2 other people.
Right.
So, and it would just cost 6 more for Bina.
Yes.
Then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's 24 hour. For the 24 hour, you get the next day you'll get a 2-step reduction on your might defense task.
Ooh,
so, yeah.
That might make
Look
it
at us go.
more possible.
Adaptability.
Yeah. Which is good. So that means that the
what
might.
does that look like?
Yeah, Freeman.
When Mason, because I can't. Given adaptability, must look interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this is interesting because like Mason does the like his I don't know. I feel like there would just be like like some kind of a rippling effect on his skin as his skin becomes a little less porous, I think,
Mm-hmm.
to like absorbing radiation, and so there'd just be like a shimmer on his like skin.
Yeah, I think that there'd be like this vague like sort of greenish glow, actually, like that sort of same sort of sickly greenish glow that you've been seeing. And Bina gets it too.
Like, I was just doing this for dramatic effect.
Yeah, you see as it like
no, I get it just for good.
The rippling sort of passes over Mason, who like reaches out, touches Bina, and as the rippling sort of like goes down his arm, and it passes to Bina, same sort of like rippling thing, and both of them take on this sort of like they have this sort of like vaguely sort of sickly greenish sheen over both of them.
It should do for 24 hours, I think. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Oof.
I feel a little better.
Mechanically above table, what type of damage would you like energy protection for when we leave? Again, I was trying to ask about radiation, but I could put us in something else. We've done like kinetic energy in the past, like getting hit.
I feel like kinetic energy might be the most universally useful.
Yeah.
Because even those spines that hit us originally came with kinetic energy first, piercing us, and then the might came along with it.
Oh yeah.
I think that sounds good.
Once more into the breach, I will give everybody.
I wanna not like get super close to the Outcast, but just turn to him so he knows that I'm talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna reach into my pocket and say, "Not a weapon, just a gift." And I'm reaching and I'm gonna pull out like I'm using dreams become reality to make this right now. I'm making a wrapped in foil and wrap it, and there is a like fluffy Anzlinian roll, and in it is like a sandwich meats. Like I'm thinking like, like French sandwiches for like deli
Mhm.
lunches and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kind of hand it out to him, and say, I think you deserve a little bit of a good snack for helping us out back there.
He just sort of looks at it and looks at you, looks at it, looks at you.
Do you want me to take a bite first?
He sort of hesitantly like reaches out for it, and then faster than you can like really like react, he just snatches it out of your just sort of like holds it close and sort of like steps away from you a little bit, and just sort of still staring at you, and then just takes a bite.
Yeah.
And you can see as he sort of like watches you suspiciously for a moment as he chews, and then you can see his eyes just sort of vague for like a moment, just kind of go wide, and then he goes back down and just starts like scarfing it down, basically.
I was raised to not come to someone's home empty-handed, so.
He sort of like sits down, sort of in a corner, like literally like grabs a chair and drags it to the corner and sort of sits and just begins just eating this food that you've just given him. Avriel is sort of like looking around. She says, "Okay, sidebar."
Yeah.
And she just like pulls everybody over to one side as he like watches all of you go kind of to the other side of the room, still just eating, but doesn't make any movements to like follow or anything like that. And Avriel just says, "Okay, look, we knew that coming down here was dangerous, but I don't think we really understood the scope of this. We have no idea what we're walking into here."
I mean, to be fair, I don't think we ever really do. And if that stops us, I don't think we're going to be able to do much at all.
That's fair, but
April, I think you and Jade should maybe let you go back to the ship if you want on this one. I don't know if this is quite exactly what you expected.
she kind of like looks around and says, "Him, I understand. But as far as me, if this is going to be as bad as it is, you're going to need somebody with real battlefield medical experience." And Jade just sort of says, "Hold on a second." He's like, "Hang on." He says, "I'm not going back." He says, "Not without any of you."
Did you have
Promise
sorry,
behind
go ahead.
all of us. Okay? If anything goes down, you stay behind. Don't try anything. Don't try to be a hero.
Okay,
At the
yeah.
very least, not until you've understood what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, Tan. If you think Jade's not going to try to be a hero in this fight situation, I just think that's a little bit, naive knowing you, Jade. Like you're always going to do the heroic thing in the moment. So can we trust you to go into this and be as safe as possible? That's maybe the better question.
He like stares you down, Peach and Bina. You can feel a flash of anger from Jade. As he just sort of looks at you, he says, "I'm not a child." I understand danger.
Yeah, I think it's important that we all have to be careful. We all have to watch each other's backs. And I think we all don't want to lose anymore.
How does Abriel look at this? Like, does she look in agreement that Jade shouldn't come, or does she like think it's fine? Like, what's her reaction to this conversation?
You can see her face is as carefully controlled and impassive as it usually is, but you can see her body language is sort of like, she's like at Jade's like at the discussion of like Jade coming along. You can see like her hands like sort of nervously clenching and unclenching. You can tell, and there's just like the slightest like vein at her temple as she just sort of like clenches her teeth a little bit and like almost like seemingly like she's biting back words. But she kind of like meets your gaze, Peach, and just shrugs and says, Look, I don't like it either. But the reality is, the kid's right. Either he's a child, and he shouldn't be coming along with us anywhere, or he's part of the crew, and deserves to take on as much of the risk as any of us. I don't think we get to choose. I don't think we get to pick and choose.
Peach kind of looks to like Mason and Bina that are still kind of green, and then kind of looks back and, yeah, I mean, it's your choice.
Look, I don't like it either. Personally, she looks at Jade and says, I think you shouldn't be here at all, and you should go back to the ship. But I sort of think that about all of us, so...
After this, Jade, I'm gonna have to teach you how to use a firearm. Mason, hopefully you can help out with that as well.
He looks over at you, Mason, and he says, I mean, you started to teach me a while ago. Then we kind of got busy with the base and setting everything up, and yeah, I'm ready to start back up.
Good.
When push comes to shove, if for whatever reason you can't use your abilities, at the very least you can have a handy firearm at your side.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Abriel, like, still, like, makes eye contact with you again, Peach, and just...
Mm. Yeah, Bina can definitely feel Peach is very uncomfortable.
Oh,
right
so
now
is
with
Abriel.
this.
That's the same flavor of uncomfortable
like,
from both of them.
We're like, ooh, this is a tough one here.
Bina very pointedly does not ever engage in conversations that regard Jade's preparedness to be in dangerous situations, because Bina is constantly putting herself in situations in which she is not prepared for at all and feels that it would be wildly hypocritical if she were to have any opinions about it whatsoever.
That is very fair.
She never really, unless like Jade is talking to her, she's always like, well, it's your choice, because she can't say anything.
Yeah. All right. Then with that, y'all just sort of settle in to wait out the rain. The rain lasts for hours, as it just kind of continually pours down. In spite of how insulated this kind of abandoned field research unit is, that doesn't stop the kind of acrid smell of acid burn from wafting in from outside. Like, looking out the, like, very sort of, kind of very heavily protected, and insulated windows to outside, all of them are very, like, they're all just sort of, like, foggy and sort of, like, foggy, like, from dirt and grime and just, like, the constant layering of fallout and dust. You kind of, like, sort of clearing a spot and looking out, you can see this incredibly eerie landscape where the ground literally looks like it is smoking from, like, the acid rain that is landing, and you can see as, like, the acid just sort of, like, it begins to sort of erode the very ground that it lands on. It almost, for a moment, you can almost trick your brain into seeing it as if it were like condensation, but it just doesn't move quite right. There's that, like, uncanny sort of differentiation that we're staring at it. Like, it, I don't know that all of your species have a concept of like a hell analog, but if they did, this is probably what they would imagine. It's truly horrific, the land outside. surrounding things. At one point, Outcast, seeing you sort of staring out, just sort of like walks up, and in sort of one of his more kind of lucid and present moments, just sort of like doesn't say anything, just like walks up, as like you're kind of like looking out the window, and just stares out of it with you and just shakes his head. He says, "Terrible, isn't it?"
Yeah. Was it always like this?
Not always, but ever since the corpse got their hands on this place, yeah. As far as I know.
How how did you end up here?
I was, well, contrary to popular belief, I wasn't an actor. I helped build this place. Not this, but Evotopia. I was I was the project manager for all terraforming, and then I was once everything was ready and set, I was put in charge of environmental maintenance, making sure everything ran the way it was supposed to. And then it all went wrong. You see, there's no place for people with a conscience doing things like this. Tried to help get somebody out. Succeeded, actually. Got him out. Through the service tunnels that run the length of the game space. Got him access. Got him on a shuttle. I didn't make it out with him. So they caught me. Sent me here. Not exactly the severance package I was promised.
Yeah. No kidding.
I knew enough about the stuff that was going on in here to know what to look out for, survive, gave me an edge. One day turned into another day. They all kind of started to blend together after a while. I don't know how long I've been here, honestly. It feels like eternity.
I'm gonna turn to Jade and just go, do you have any idea when Evotopia got established?
Jade frowns. He says, off the top of my head, no. And I can't get a signal out on my terminal through all this radiation, but I think it was somewhere close to maybe 8-9 years ago.
Does that sound about right to you?
Maybe. I don't know. I know I got sent in here maybe only a year after we got everything up and running, after we started getting players in.
You helped build this place, and now you're in the worst dregs of it. Just like the corpse.
It's no more than I deserve.
Where would you like to go first when you leave?
I honestly don't know. Maybe try to find the person I helped. Maybe... I never knew if they made it. I only knew that they made it onto the shuttle. After that, I don't know.
Well, we probably have some people that could help you get connected.
Yeah. What was this person's name, by the way? The one you helped?
I never knew. It's a kid. Couldn't have been much younger than him. kind of like jerks his chin over at Jade. No parents, no relatives of any kind here on this. He was just here. A ward of the state from his home world who just slipped through the cracks. Was offered an opportunity and didn't read the fine print.
Happens all too often.
Yeah. He kind of like looks out the window and he says, "It looks like the rain's letting up. We should get ready."
While we were waiting for the rain to pass,
Mm-hmm.
could I have tried to ship speak with Awakener again?
Yeah, you attempt
Them?
you attempt to slip into that same sort of like mindset, but you can't reach Awakener.
Okay. Just want to try.
Do a recovery roll.
Sounds good.
I do repair flesh on Peach when I see that she's trying to recover.
Sounds good.
You can add additional +2 to whatever you roll.
Okay, awesome.
I should probably also do another recovery roll because
Do my 10-minute one.
the adapt thing
I'll
did
tell
cost
everyone.
quite a lot.
I can do repair flesh for free. My edge eats it all, so I'll just do it to everyone.
Excellent.
What do you roll for recovery roll again?
It's a-
Just-
D6 plus your
Recovery.
level
Mhm. Plus your
for
tier, yeah.
recovery.
Well, it
Cool.
depends on what your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So you all take the time to rest and recuperate as much as you can under the circumstances. And as soon as the
Like Outcast's thoughts are very loud. Like I feel like even without Peach like actively trying to listen, I feel like she gets a little bit of it.
yeah, I think it fluctuates between like just sort of like snippets of like internal monologue, and like occasionally there's just there's there's all kinds of like different thoughts that you're getting. It's a jumble of chaos, and you're right, it is very loud, but by far the worst thing that you hear is occasionally there is just like the mental equivalent of just a scream.
Yeah. Okay.
With that though, you finish up your recovery, and as the rain subsides, Outcast begins sort of like unceremoniously just stands up, pulls on that coat from before, and begins kind of like wrapping up again, yeah, he just pulls the hood up, and sort of shoulders the pole arm, and he just turns to the group of you and says, "Are you ready?"
What does it will ever be?
He says,
Ready.
Maybe as we go, you can tell us more of what we'll expect so that we can be more prepared.
he doesn't answer, but he just sort of like turns around and just says, "Of course it's not a good idea. It's too late now." And you can see as he just like begins just sort of turning the hatch, and opens it with sort of a sucking sound. You can smell, so like from outside, that rush of acrid burning smell just sort of like hits you full in the face as he opens it. As he steps out to outside, where like this unit, which probably at one point stood on level ground, now sort of has a slight kind of slant, so that when you climb out of it, when you step out of it, it's almost like you're climbing out. And as he steps out, you can hear the squelch of ground underneath his boot, which when you arrived was solid. A combination of the moisture and the acidic qualities of the rain just churning up the ground beneath it, turning the ground into a slick paste in many places. as you all kind of one by one exit the unit, he closes it behind him and sort of hesitates before he ratchets it shut once again. Sort of looks at it. He like reaches into a pocket and you see as he pulls out the detonator, just like opens it, like clicks it on and off a couple times, and then puts it back in his pocket. Like not seemingly with any intent. In fact, it almost doesn't even seem like he's realizing that he's doing it. And then he just sort of squares his shoulders and just, let's go. And then without another word, without even acknowledging anything that he just did, begins sort of striding off into the blasted, blackened landscape.
From
Mhm.
this is like probably not even useful at all, but from observing him in the bunker and also out here with the flicking of the detonator, is there like a almost like, I don't think OCD is the right term for it, but like is there a, I guess, neurotic thing about it where it's like is it like everything he does seems to have a number to it, like he always does it 3 times, or
I wouldn't
or
say
like
that, but I will say that there is something that appears vaguely ritualistic about it. Like it doesn't seem compulsive. I'll say that. It doesn't seem like a compulsion. It feels more ritualistic than anything, but one that has become so habitual that he almost doesn't even seem to register that he's doing it.
Like a comfort sort of a thing.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. And as you proceed, sort of following this mysterious individual, contemplate like the contemplation of what must have befallen an individual to make the ritualistic contemplation of his own ability to simply cease a comfort not far from your minds as you watch the swaying of his tattered long coat as he walks ahead of you, leading you to the one place in this whole terrifying nightmare of a landscape that he, the survivor of years in this place, is terrified to return. And that is where we'll pick up next time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
we have to protect him, okay? At all costs.
Yeah.
Gotta get him out.
Cool.
I'm really looking at all my abilities like, how can I boost him so he doesn't die?
I'm just thinking about poor Jade here with us.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for coming by, for hanging out with us tonight, for watching with us tonight, for bearing with us through our very strange but surprisingly well-timed technical issues.
It was all planned.
That's a bald-faced lie, because if it had been planned, it would never have worked out as well as it did.
It was all planned.
Everyone, thank you so much. Just a reminder that we will be having Ramblemancy as normal this totally normal Friday. This completely unremarkable Friday. And we will that's gonna be happening. Some quick reminders. Number 1, our first Patreon town hall is going to be up on Patreon. The recording of it is going to be up on Patreon in the next couple of days, before the end of the week for sure. We also have just a reminder that speaking of Patreon, many of our Patreon rewards are also available to those of you who subscribe here on Twitch. If you are subscribed here on Twitch and you are in our Discord, and have those two things connected, you have access to a lot of really cool stuff. Do make sure that if you want to follow what we are doing, if you are not already in our Discord, you should be in there, because that's going to be the place where you're going to see all the stuff that we do. Where you're going to get all of our announcements, all of our discussions, and behind the scenes little tidbits and stuff like that. So, that's pretty much all I got right now. So we're going to go. Thank you all so much once again. We'll hopefully see you on Friday for Ramblemancy, but if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.